All right, I want to talk about outsourcing here. And the first platform I want to show you here is Fiverr. And essentially, Fiverr has a ton of different gigs on here that are going to cost you, $5. So, but you also have different packages, right? As you see here, this one has $15. This is $25. And most of these are going to start with 5, and they offer additional services for another $5, another $10, depending on what you're trying to get done. But this one is really good to have something done really quick, right? So let's say you wanted to have, just like those images we saw earlier with the dogs being photoshopped, we can have some kind of rendering or maybe even Photoshop work done here really quickly. So let's say you wanted to have, like, look at this here. This is a really good image rendering gig here. Let's see here. Okay. So, right, this looks completely real, right? But it's an image rendering. Let's look at some other ones here, right? So what you want to use these gigs for is for, your different pictures on your website there, different images on your listing. You can find all different types of gigs. Okay, let's say you wanted to have a logo created. So type in a logo, right? Then you're going to see all these different gigs on here that offer logo design services. So what you would do is you would go through, I would say maybe go to the top 5 or 4 and really see what types of designs resonate with you, right? A lot of these guys have been on here for a long time, do a great job. So, let's take a look at some of these. Okay. So each one of these individuals on here that are doing these gigs have their own style. So you need to go and check them out, which one you like the best. So let's say you wanted to have, your website worked on. Maybe you wanted some kind of graphics. All right, so same thing here, right? And you can actually go down to the left over here and go to the level 2. The top rated sellers are typically going to be your best ones. However, for some reason, there's not any in the website graphics. So, you essentially go through all these different gigs, right? And look at the seller, look at the gigs, look at the kind of work they do, and determine if it's going to work for you. Let's say you wanted to have something really specific made, right? Something really custom. You can also put up a gig on here as well and hire the best candidate, right? So I want to show you another one that I use here. So Upwork.com. This used to be known as, I believe, Odesk. Okay. So this one here, you essentially create a job, okay? And you have individuals that go on there and they essentially put up, their best bid, right? They put their bid in for how low they could do it for and for how long it's going to take them. So Upwork is another platform here where you essentially post a job and you have individuals all over the world that will go on there and put up their best bid, right? They'll put up how low they can go for it, right? Let's say you put a job where you wanted to have some images created or some images made for your website or for your eBay listing. And, you put all the specifics on there and you have somebody come say, hey, I can get this done in 2 days for $20, for $30, right? And you go and you select all your different candidates, right? You can narrow them down and then, finally choose the one you want to work with. So this one's actually pretty cool because you can hire per project or on an hourly basis. So let's say you wanted to have some image renderings. So type that in. Okay. So then you can see here, and we can actually put it by, let's go to 90% job success, $10 an hour and below. So then we can see here that these guys is typical is $9 an hour, $10 an hour. Okay, we got top rated here. Let's take a look at this guy here. So we would essentially go through see what kind of individuals that would best fit for our job. Okay. And once we post a job on here, we can actually invite them to bid on our job. Okay. So we can look at their history here. Okay. The feedback they've gotten, right? So it's essentially similar to Fiverr, because if we go back to Fiverr, we look at a particular gig. Okay. And we go down, here's the item description. Okay. For what you'd be getting for the gig. Down here is where you're going to see the reviews. And over here, it's actually a little bit more in depth, because you get to see how much they earned as far as for the whole entire job. If they had an hourly set up here, how many hours they worked. You can see some good images here of their past work. So, you know, you can see a lot more information about them, right? This guy has a Master of Architecture. Very nice, very nice. Okay. So I would go on Upwork and Fiverr, and mostly Fiverr is really what I use the most, because you get a lot of gigs done really quickly and for really low cost, right? Maybe you want to have people go on Terapeak, right? And maybe search some items that have the best, you know, sell-through ratio. Or maybe you want to find different items, or maybe even do some research. Hire somebody off Fiverr or Upwork to do some competition research, right? Where they're looking at different sellers in a particular market niche, okay? And they put together a spreadsheet of that top sellers in that particular niche, okay? So you can use Upwork and Fiverr for a variety of different things that you can outsource. At some point, you're going to want to actually hire a full-time virtual assistant. And most likely they're going to be overseas, and they're going to range anywhere from $300 to $500 a month, right? Which is a very, very minimal cost. But the thing is, you may have to go through a few of them to find that right one that sticks, right? Because very, very rarely are you going to find someone right off the bat on your first try to hire on as a full-time virtual assistant. And having a virtual assistant, to me, is vital for your success as you start to grow, because they handle a lot of your internal tasks, right? Which allow you to get freed up and focus on more important money-making tasks, okay? So having a virtual assistant is something that you want to look forward to, because they're going to help you out tremendously. But you don't want to hire one just right off the bat because you think that you need one. You want to be able to get to the point where you're doing so much, right, that you need someone, okay? So that's something to look forward to, right? But outsourcing a lot of your different tasks is definitely going to be something that you want to strive towards. You want to make sure that you're doing the most important tasks in your business, and everything else is being outsourced.